I'm going to go ahead and open up the City Council regular meeting. It is 6 p.m. It is Tuesday, January 6, 2026. I'm sure I'll mess that up before the night's over. We're located at Granbury City Hall, 116 West Bridge Street in Granbury, Texas, 76048. I now call this meeting to order, and if you will, Mr. Hay, if you will lead the invocation for us, we'd all appreciate it. If we will stand, then we will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this great community that you've blessed us with, the city, the county, the state, and this country. Father, we couldn't ask for a better place to live and a better group of people to be associated with as our neighbors. Father, as we go through this meeting, we pray that your spirit of understanding and love and wisdom will be upon us, that people will listen with open hearts, and people will love their neighbor, even when they disagree with them. Father, and we pray most of all for your wisdom upon the council and the mayor, that you will guide them in their decision to do what's best for all of us. And we pray, Father, that you'll forgive us of our sins, as Jesus has forgiven us. And we pray in his name. Amen.
Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. What a great way to start the new year. Thank you, Mr. Hay, for the prayer. Thanks all of you for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and to the Texas flag. Do you need a place to sit, sir? We need everyone seated. There we go. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open the meeting, but I'd like to cover off just a few things before we get into the proclamations and into the meeting in total. We have a full house here tonight. We have some people downstairs. Thank you. Appreciate you coming. You can also watch this on granbury.org/live. If anyone else is in attendance, pick it up tonight live, or you can pick it up later on the YouTube channel. So we have a number of items tonight that are public. They require a public meeting and an open meeting and a public meeting for that. But on item 5 on the agenda is titled Public Comments on Agenda Items for Non-Public Hearing Agenda Items. That includes all of the consent items that are there, but nothing on item 7. Those are all require public hearing. But item 7, agenda item 7 on tonight's deliberation agenda, these are all public hearings, and public comments will not be taken during deliberation. Our process here, as has been for the last 4 to 5 years, is we open the agenda item with the conversation and the presentation by the city staff. We will then go to the public hearing, and we have the people who have signed up who would like to hear that or would like to participate in that process. We will call your name at that point in time, have you come to the podium over here, where we'll ask your name and your address. And those are important to us because we may have questions later, and we do want to come back to you, and we do occasionally come back and ask those questions of you. That's how we make the connection. Let's see. I've already looked at the number of items over here, so it's a yes. I know that many of you are interested in item 7.2, the request for voluntary annexation of more than 2,000 acres located at 2801 West Highway 377. During consideration on this item, the council will be focused solely on the annexation request itself. City staff may be asked to provide information, and if council determines that additional information from other speakers is needed, these speakers will be invited to the podium at that point in time. In other words, if you haven't signed up and we notice somebody in the audience that is going to have pertinent information that is needed to make the decisions that we make, we may ask that you come to the podium. Certainly you can refuse, but we want to get all of the information we possibly can to make the right decisions. Okay. On citizen comments, which is number 8 on the agenda, that's where you can speak literally on anything that you think of interest to the community and to the council and to your fellow citizens that are out there. We generally limit that to 30 minutes. We will see how many people that we have, 3 minutes per person. We see how many people that we have speaking, and we will, accommodate. We'll work with you. We're going to accommodate that. I haven't seen that many people that have signed up for that item at this point in time. The information that I've given here is generally not given because we generally don't have this bigger crowd. We generally don't have this many people that are, as I look into the crowd, new into the organization. But I do want to, into the community here, but I do want just to let each and everyone know that we pride ourselves on the decorum. We pride ourselves on the courtesy that we provide to each other. And at such time as someone does get rowdy, could be a word, then that'll be noted. And there will be a cautionary warning, and you get one. So I ask that everyone here observe the decorum and the courtesy that this city is actually known for very much. So that'll be a request of mine at this point in time. So let's go to item number 4, proclamation presentation. City Council, City Manager issue encouraging statements and recognize city staff. So, Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to recognize all the employees that worked hard to put together the Christmas lights for the holiday season. As you've seen, the spectacular parks and decorations and lighted poles throughout the community and the decorations up and down 377. I just want to thank those folks that did that. That's the electric department, the street department, the parks department, and others too as well that I may not be aware of. But they have done a fantastic job. They start in early October working to get all the light bulbs operational on every fixture, and then they begin putting it up, and by Friday, Good Friday or Black Friday after Thanksgiving, they're ready to be turned on for the holiday festivities. And I'm just so proud of our town and the way our community looked for the holidays and the amount of business and activity that was stimulated by the Christmas season. So just want to thank y'all for that, and I'll stop with that since of brevity.
Council, other comments raised? Okay. We will move to number 5, public comments on agenda items for non-public hearing agenda items. Ms. Walker, do we have, no one has signed up? So we will move to number 6, the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine or previously discussed items and will be approved with one motion. However, should a member of the City Council wish to discuss any item, said item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered under the deliberation agenda. Council, any councilmen, councilwoman? No? Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as is?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wadley makes the motion. Mr. Oberger seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. That will be approved 6-0. Now, because of some business that has just come up, I am going to move to suspend the rules and take up items 9.1 and 9.3 on the agenda in executive session. Is there any objection? There being no objection, I now declare that the Granbury City Council is convened into open session. All members are present. The City Council will go into closed session pursuant to provisions of Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in the following sections. 551071, consultation with attorney pending or contemplated litigation. 551087, deliberation regarding economic development and negotiations. We are now in executive session, and in this open session, I'll say, sit tight. We'll be back shortly. Okay? Thank you. All right. We're going to reconvene now to open session. I now declare that the City Council reconvenes into open session. There was no action taken in closed session. All council members are Council, any action?
Mayor,
Yeah, Mr. Wadley?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute a development agreement with Granbury Ready Land Partners as related to the petitioner's request for voluntary annexation.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Oberdar. Comments, questions? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. That will be passing 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Wadley. Any other information, comments, action? Okay. Then we'll go back to the agenda where we left off. We've got we now go to 7.1, which is a public hearing. Like I say, we will call people to the podium as after we get the staff report. This public hearing, consider adopting ordinance number 26-01, approving the request of Kelly Clark for a specific use permit for an amusement center, commercial outdoor, temporary, and light commercial zoning. The consideration in motion on the special use permit also provides for procedural compliance for outdoor events with animals on the city beach per section 1.04.002-F.2 of the City of Granbury Code of Ordinances. The property is located at 615 East Pearl Street. I believe that's the city beach, correct? Yes, sir. Okay. So, Mr. Kaufman, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you. Kelly Clark is here somewhere. I don't know if he has a seat or not, but this, I believe, marks the 10th anniversary of this event that's been held on the beach, the Bulls on the Beach event. And so I'll turn it over to Karawawi at this point to walk us through the SUP process and call for a vote.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Public hearing, too.
So we see this each year. This is the site. It's at the city beach at 615 East Pearl Street. You can see there the site is outlined in teal. To the north is the hotel and some retail establishments. To the east is the conference center, and to the west is parking. The lake is to the south. So it's for a temporary amusement center, commercial outdoors, the specific use that is requested. This shows the zoning. The site is zoned light commercial, appropriate to the SUP request. This is the site plan as submitted by the applicant. There's some odd-shaped boxes that represent the activity areas for the surrounding to the site where the bull riding would occur. So it's on the east side of the beach. In review, staff has conditions. One is the term and length of the event would run from March 12, 26 to March 25, 26. This was submitted by the applicant, and that includes the setup and the takedown. And number two, the event would be conducted in accordance with the city's adopted event festival ordinance and approved event festival permit request. The following slides are the SUP criteria for decision making and establish that the use is harmonious and compatible to the surrounding area, that the applicant request is normally associated with the requested use, and whether the nature of the use is reasonable, whether the surrounding area has been mitigated or is any impact need to be mitigated, and are there any other measures to secure and protect the health, safety, and general welfare. We find in our staff report all of these are satisfied in the positive fashion. The ordinance goes on towards certain SUP regulations. These, in summary, repeat some of those that I've just mentioned on compatibility, that the use has capacity to support the event, that the site has capacity to support the event. And moving it forward, these are more regulatory in nature, things that require compliance with CO and city codes. We did provide public notice. We mailed out 9 public notices. We've not received any responses to those notices, and we also posted on the city webpage and satisfied all the requirements of that. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with those conditions as mentioned by a vote of 7-0. Now, the Planning and Zoning Commission does not take action on the parks item regarding the animals on the beach. However, the City Council does take action on that portion of the request. These, as a reminder, are the conditions that were recommended. Staff is also recommending approval subject to those stated conditions, and these are your voting options for the SUP. We don't have a slide on the beaches, or the animals on the beach, excuse me. However, they would be a approval or a denial motion, if you would. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council, questions? No? No other information? Ms. Walker, I don't have anyone for 7.1. Okay. I am going to go ahead and open the public meeting. If anyone does want to speak, raise your hand. If you'd like to speak, please state your name and location.
My name's Kelly Clark. I live at 1601 McVoyd Road in Springtown, Texas. This is our 13th year to put on Bulls on the Beach. Mr. Kaufman, thank you.
Do that.
We were the first ones to get to come back after COVID with our festival, and we complied with everything that was on us then, and it's a great festival. I really just wanted to let all these wonderful people here know about it. It's March 21st. Starts at noon, 3 and 6. It's a wonderful family event. Y'all come out and enjoy the day. It's brought to you by Visit Granbury, who supports us all the time. I do these all over the Metroplex and all over Texas, really. 5 or 6 years ago, when did you start? 7. See? There you go, Chris. 7 years ago, she walked up and said, didn't say who she was or anything. She said, what can we do to keep you here doing this show? And I said, I've never had anybody ask me that. And we've had a great partnership for 7 years. Thank you, Tammy. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll answer any questions.
Questions?
Mayor.
Yes, Mr.
No questions. Just for anyone that hasn't been, this is probably one of the better events that happens that somebody else puts on and brings into Granbury. Like you said, it's family friendly. There's always a ton of people that go. I don't think I've been a year where there's been many places to sit. If any.
Yeah.
A lot of times standing room only. So we appreciate you coming back, and thanks for all the hard work you do.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having us too.
Thank you. Others? Okay. No, thank you. Okay, we're going to move to 7.2. Oh, you wanted to vote on that? I thought when I heard the applause. Okay. Okay. On motion 7.1, as written, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Corrigan makes the motion.
Second.
Mr. Overdeer seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That will pass 6-0. Thank you. Thanks for keeping me straight up here. Going to 7.2. It's a public hearing. We consider adopting ordinance number 26-02, approving the request of the Granbury Ready Land Partners petition for a voluntary annexation of 2,090 acres of the Milan County School Land Survey Lower League, Milan County School Land Survey Upper League. John David Crowe, Survey Abstract number 110, Ebenezer Milliken, Survey Abstract number 114, J.W. Owensby, Survey Abstract number 814, G.W. Williams, Survey Abstract number 600, Jose Maybarbo, Survey Abstract number 749. The C.C. Harvick Survey Abstract number 290. E.T. Gatlin Survey Abstract number 211. J.W. Dawson Survey number 805. J.H. Davis Survey Abstract number 157. And E. Hammock Survey Abstract number 650, Hood County, and all of Scottish Rite Village, Unit 1, Tract 1, Hood County, Texas, per petition for voluntary annexation in the city of Granbury, Texas, Hood County, Texas. The property is located at 2801 West Highway 377. All of that is read to you because it is the requirement that I read every bit of that. So with that, Mr. Kaufman, I'll open to you.
I'd like to ask Jeremy Sorrell, our city attorney, to review a little bit before we start this agenda as to administratively complete process.
Thank you, Chris, Mayor. As you're aware, we received a petition for annexation from. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, Council, as you're aware, we received a petition for annexation. Once received, city staff reviews the petition. We ensure that it's complied with Chapter 43 of the Texas Local Government Code regarding voluntary annexation. In doing such, there are certain legal requirements for postings in the newspaper, postings on our website, 20-day periods. There are 10-day periods set out as well. All of these were complied with, newspaper notices, etc. We're all done, and then we have a time period for which we must hold a public hearing, which we are within that time period, and why we are here tonight holding a public hearing. As you guys are aware, back in 2019, the Texas legislature repealed city's authority to involuntarily annex properties into the city limits that are inside the ETJ. What that did is it kind of created an area around cities that there was no control of. So anytime we receive a petition for annexation, we ensure, number one, legal compliance with Chapter 43, that is, it is actually able to be annexed into the city. And then after that, we look at how will it affect the growth of the city, and is it in the best interest of the citizens to take property into the city? And in this case, as well as items 7.3 and 7.4, which are also voluntary annexations, we look at those pieces of property and we see, the potential of what could or could not be built there. And when we think about the best interests of the citizens, we think, we have these sizable pieces of property that we want to bring before council to consider accepting the petitions for voluntary annexation, because that, in effect, does something pretty substantial in that it allows the city, once this property is annexed in, to enforce higher levels of building codes and standards that the county doesn't have authority to do. So we are able to do things like plan developments and review plats and different types of things, whatever may be developed there, at higher standards and ensure higher quality. So being these three properties in their locations, we thought they pretty significant that you should consider accepting the petition so that we could have some controls that we do not have and that the county doesn't have the authority to enact, to ensure that whatever goes in there, whatever sorts of developments on these three voluntary annexations are of quality. As well, there's always the financial aspect of these things. Due to the inability to involuntarily annex, our city limits are not going to grow unless someone comes and says, I want to voluntarily annex into the city. Now, that not only increases the size of the city, but it also allows for less of a burden on the taxpayers. We all know that we're going to need to continue with infrastructure upgrades, and we're going to have to redo our roads, and there are all these things, and the prices go up every year. And if you have just a small pot of people, those people are paying a share, and that share keeps going up. So if we have the opportunity to bring other property in and develop that, whatever that development may be, we certainly want to take all of those things into consideration and bring those in on those petitions. I understand there's been a lot of speculation as to what may or may not go at that property, but what I can tell you, the council, and the public, is that there is absolutely no application for any development received by the city as to that property. The only thing that's ever been filed is a petition for voluntary annexation, and at some point, when that individual chooses to develop that property, they will come to the city and they will say, this is what we anticipate we would like to do. Here, city, you look at it, and let's work through this. And whether that be 5,000 homes or some sort of commercial industry in support of our ever-expanding airport, or, as I've heard, data centers, that will be looked at that time. For today, you need to consider the best interests of growing the city, being able to control our corridors in and out, and having some sort of controls that the county is not afforded legislatively, so that we can assure whatever goes in there is for the best interests of the community.
Thank you, Jeremy. At this time, I'll turn over the next 3 agenda items to our Community Development Director, Kira Walby.
Okay. So this is the site location. It's, as stated, approximately 2,090 acres located towards the west of town between Biloxi Road and the West 377 Highway, and on both sides of Meadow Drive. In our staff report, we report out the situation of the location of the site, as well as a summary statement of the infrastructure in the area. And staff is recommending approval of the voluntary request. Thank you.
Thank you, Kira. Council, if you'll have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Council? Questions? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing then. And I have a number of people that have asked to speak on this. And so I'm going to call out 2 names at a time, because there are people downstairs, and I understand that we're on about a 30-second lag to get the message downstairs. But if we could have Mr. and Mrs. Chris Paulson. Okay, it is Chris Paulson, yeah. Okay.
First of all,
if you would give us, okay, thank you.
If you could punch the red button.
okay.
Thank you.
Chris Paulson, 37 to 66 County Road, 2008, Glen Rose, Texas. I'm a rancher. I've been in the utility industry 32 years on the production end, both in nuclear, fossil, and gas plants. My biggest concern is on annexation. If you end up with something that is either a power plant or a data center, is water usage. It's going to be the most critical thing in Texas this century is water. And I know that for a fact Upper Trinity is seeing water levels go down. I am seeing the same thing in Bluebonnet. I'm seeing the same thing in Somerville County. I work with Kevin Taylor and I've been working with Hood County commissioners, our commissioners down the road here, and the development committee over here in Hood County. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get a reasonable idea of water usage and things like this. Sailfish approached our county down in there in Somerville County.
The annexation of this property, please.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. My recommendation on this is to be very careful on this, because the water usage that you are committed to is for the citizens of this county. It should not be for a major industrial user.
Guys, excuse me, Mr. Paulson, I'll give you your time back, but please.
Yes,
I
understand.
I have a large number here. I encourage your enthusiasm, but
please just
yeah.
hold it. Just
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Go ahead.
appreciate it. And the thing I'm looking after is your kids, your grandkids. I want them to inherit something besides a dry hole. And these power companies use a lot of water, and so do data centers. And,
circle it back around to this property, please.
all right, this property, if it ends up being a data center, is going to use a lot of water. That's the cheapest
We're just
thing.
annexing. We'll talk about the usage at the appropriate time.
My suggestion then is if you annex, is to just make sure that it is in the best public interest of your constituents, not a major water user of an industrial utility. Because that is just the wrong direction to go, because we don't have the groundwater capabilities, we don't have the surface water capabilities. You've got all this tourism going on here with the lake and people here. So we need to focus on not money, but people. People. Okay? And thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your presentation. Yeah. Okay. So, Ms. Tina Brown, and following Ms. Brown would be Brian J. Glenn.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Tina Brown. I live at 3924 Brushy Road, Granbury, Texas. This annexation piece of property is probably a mile from my house as a crow flies. It really bothers me that you want to annex this property but don't know what you want to do with it. I believe that you should know what you're doing with it before you annex it, because it may not be in best interest of the county or the city or the people who live here. I did a little bit of research on this Knox Ranch. It was always supposed to be a planned master community with homes, ranches, a little bit of commercial property. It was going to fit in that area where all the rest of us live in the county for a reason. In fact, when I was looking through this, the city was going to ask the developer to do all the water and piping and all that kind of stuff before you annexed it. I don't know if that's just the way things were done back then. It was like in 2012. But if you need to know what the developer's going to do with this before you can make an educated decision on whether or not it will be a good fit in the city of Granbury and the people of Granbury and the people of Hood County. Please, I wish you would just hold off on this and not make a decision yet until you have time to really know what this property is going to be used for. Thank you.
Ms. Brown? Ms. Brown, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the reference that you gave, because the facts will matter here. So if you can leave that with our city secretary before you go, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. The reference to the 2012 thank you. I can deal with facts. Thank you. Mr. Brian Glenn, and following him will be Ms. Laura Crawford. Mr. Glenn.
My name is Brian Glenn. I live at 9170 MacArthur Court. This was supposed to go first, but I guess that's agenda item 8, so I'll start with this. It may sound a little out of context for that reason. Sorry. Texas legislature granted Hood County Commissioner Court specific power, Local Government Code Chapter 231, Subchapter K, Hood County carve-out to regulate unincorporated development. Existing Hood County development rules and regulations, they primarily consider housing development. They are devoid of rules and regulations for industrial use that we're talking about here in this county. I suspect Granbury's ordinances and zoning are also lacking in this area. Hood County Commissioner's Court hired legal counsel that advised the court to reform a development commission. The development commission was formed, and the commissioners appointed. The Development Commission approved the temporary moratorium last week.
Mr. Glenn.
To present to the commissioner's court.
The property in question, please.
I'm getting to it. Right now it's incorporated, right? Or unincorporated? That's what this is related to, the unincorporated of this party. If I can
Go ahead.
finish,
We'll
I
give
have
you-
time. If this moves forward, you'll be subjecting your most vulnerable citizens, children, and elderly constituents to undue respiratory stress. The proximity
Glenn,
to the adjacent
Glenn, the
assisted living,
annexation.
nursing care, and nearby hospital, churches, and schools is concerning. Zoning should put commercial areas between residential and industrial. I urge you to pause this decision on this annexation, at least until the Commissioners Court has a chance to rule on the Development Commission's moratorium. Leave this land unincorporated and subject to regulations developed to address this kind of industry. If not, you want to approve this, don't give away the farm, please. No abatements for tax, no land should be given away. You will regret giving them water. They need a lot of water. Putting additional stress on already dwindling resource. You will regret the noise and miss the stars.
Okay.
And what will Granbury get out of this?
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. You have more?
I have
you
10
seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Crawford? And following Ms. Crawford will be Ms. Carolyn Reeves.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. One word. We can pretend that we don't know what's going in here, but it's very public knowledge that TCEQ has already approved a power plant on this property.
Ms. Crawford, please.
Okay.
Annexation of the property.
Annexation, but I'm just saying
Okay.
it's public record. I am here to voice my strong opposition to against this annexation. And if this proposed future use that we're pretending we don't know happens, it will significantly risk some very serious health issues. The Lake Granbury Medical Center is a cornerstone of our city's healthcare system. It provides critical care for emergency services and life-saving services. The land being annexed next to it in such close proximity to a hospital could directly affect the health and safety of patients and caregivers. Energy production in any form introduces pollution in the soil, in the air, in the water, and all kinds of accompanied risk. This is particularly concerning when the land in question is so close to a medical center, a nursing home, an assisted living center, and 3 schools. Many patients in these facilities have compromised immune systems, respiratory conditions, and are undergoing treatments. I ask that if you must or do vote to approve the annexation, please do so with the addition of a clause that prohibits the use of the land for energy production. By doing so, you will be safeguarding the health of our community, protecting the medical center, and ensuring that Granbury's future growth is aligned with the values of safety, health, and well-being, and does not threaten Granbury's reputation as the best small town of America.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Ms. Reeves, and following Ms. Reeves is Mr. Mark Lowry.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Reeves. I live off 2013 Neri Road in Granbury. You're annexing over 2,000 acres, pushing into our country property. You're vague on what you're zoning it as. You're not really putting what you're wanting to annex and what is going into. You're You're not saying if it's residential or commercial, which makes us very suspicious on what really is going in there. You're pushing the city into our country living where we want to be left alone. We're concerned about noise. We're concerned about air pollution. We're concerned about our water and our electricity. We don't want the city within a mile of our properties or 2 miles. We moved to the county for a reason. We want our space. We don't want the city in our backyard. We don't want businesses in our backyard. We don't want data centers in our backyard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reeves. Mr. Lowry, and following Mr. Lowry will be Shannon Watts. Shannon? Ms. Watts. Mr. Lowry?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, and staff, thank you for allowing us to speak. My name is Mark Lowry, 3712 Lonesome Creek Road in Granbury, Texas. I think we finally found an issue to bring the community, all of the community entire together. Thank you for that. And the attorney commented on a couple things. Annexation 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, they used to be able to do this in the night, in the dark, without you even knowing. So thankful they at least have to have public hearings now. He mentioned cost of growth. As we grow, yeah, they annex some stuff without people. Ask the mayor next to you. He'll answer that. We can talk about it if you like. Anyway, let me get back on track. The cost of growth, if you got more people they bring in, they pay more taxes. I am confident that before a municipality votes on an annexation of a piece of property, they consider the impact it will have on not just for the owner of the property, but for the city and the citizens. What is the benefit versus the negatives of this annexation? What is the long-term objective for this annexation? Once an annexation occurs, there is some likelihood that others will pursue the same course for the same end result. So I ask you, what do you, the city leaders, want Granbury to look like in the next 5 years, 10 years, and beyond? Now we are a tourism destination and families and small farms and living here. Decisions you make today may have an impact on this future. What is the cost to annexation to the citizens who live in the immediate area and to the cities in Granbury and Hood County? What will be the cost for the next 3 to 5 years regarding construction of a major facility and the 377 project that will be ongoing at the same time? Transparency is key to good leadership. This community is torn over the rumors and speculation over the next phase following annexation. All this lack of communication and transparency breeds confusion, anger, contempt, honestly with a touch of fear. What impacts the city impacts the county and vice versa. There's no magical superhero shield separating the two geographical areas. Tired of hearing that. We in the Hood community share the same air, water, land, and roads. I want this body to consider what they want Granbury to look like for the future generations. If they want Granbury to continue to be a destination place with small ranchers and farmers, I ask this council not to rush into any decision, and please be transparent. Our community deserves a transparent government. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Ms. Watts? And behind Ms. Watts is Shauna Whalen. Ms. Watts, you'll need to pull that microphone down.
Got it. Good evening. I'm Dr. Shannon Watts. I live at 7001 Coleman Ranch Road in Tolar, Texas. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, and I've provided care to the children of Granbury for over 24 years. Every day in my office, my goal is to provide the very best care for my patients. In pediatrics, this not only consists of caring for the illnesses, but even more importantly, it consists of educating my pet families on preventative medicine to maintain a long, healthy life. I'm here to ask you not to annex the property known as Knox Ranch into the city of Granbury. My request is out of concern that this property will be developed as part of the industrialization attempting to invade Hood County. My reason behind this is because the company that has applied for the petition and their previous development history in our county already. While proponents of industrialization want to highlight the economic benefits to our community, the concern in the fact that the environmental, health, and ecological costs are profound and they are irreversible. There is no amount of money worth sacrificing the health of Hood County residents, which includes the children that I care for daily. The impacts, they're not hypothetical. They're well documented in peer-reviewed research and regulatory assessments. Specifically, I want to focus just on the air quality and the presence that we already have multiple gas plants here in this
Dr.
county.
Watts,
Yep.
the circle around to the property. Thank
Okay.
you.
It is because I am concerned that there may be another gas plant that pops up on the annexation of that land. And the fact that there is a study that showed in Environmental Research Communication in 2025 that the hazardous air pollutants from natural gas combustion,
Dr.
including benzene, just a second, that they pose carcinogenic risk, particularly for communities within 1 mile of such facilities.
Dr.
This
Watts.
land that's being annexed is within 1 mile of 4 Granbury schools. 1
Dr.
mile.
Watts,
It's real.
the land. Talk about the land.
It is the
please.
land. The land is in proximity to these schools.
That's good.
And if this land is used improperly, then it will affect these children that are 0.75 miles from this land at the Emma Robertson Preschool, the Bronner Elementary, Granbury High School 0.75 miles away, and Granbury Middle School 1 mile away. This will be a dangerous to their health, as well as the other 3 nursing homes that are there. And once again, y'all can pretend that you don't know what it's for, and you may not, but I'm not sure I believe that. But I just need to point that out, that I don't think there's any reason that you should sacrifice the health of our community for any amount of money, especially the children. I'll stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Whalen, and following Ms. Whalen is Mr. Tony Calloway. And I'm going to request again, I understand the passion, but we are talking about annexing land, raw land. Yes. Go ahead.
If I could say something, council, audience,
Yeah.
I would like to go on record and state this fact. There has not been one company come to this city council and present any plan for any development on that property other than Moydad Moyetta for the project that was approved in 2012. That's where we're at. You guys are speculating on something this council has not done. And I'd just like to make that very transparent with you. They have not dealt individually with a company, either in this back room or at this dais, in a public meeting, in a closed session, at all. Simple as that.
Excuse me. Excuse me. If you want to speak,
It doesn't
if you want to
matter.
Speak,
They
we'll do it.
haven't met it as not a quorum. I'm telling you, they have not had a presentation
Mr.
on
Kaufman,
anything.
Mr. Kaufman, and audience. Ms. Whalen, go right ahead, please, about the annexation. Yeah, there we go.
My name is Shauna Whalen. Can you all hear me? Okay. I live on Baker's Crossing Road, and what I want to know is how does the city of Granbury go from the celebration capital of Texas to a concrete jungle? That's what I want to know. You want to annex this property to do what? Voting for annexation of 2,000 acres to industrialize Hood County? Why, as we Hood County citizens, look at this room. We don't want industrialization. Okay? What about Project Patriot? Anybody heard of that? Project Patriot? We know, okay? You are elected by the people of Granbury, and you hold this beautiful community in your hands. Did you sign NDAs? Why wasn't the public made aware of what was going to happen to this property? Was it so you could take it out of Subchapter K?
You know we can't respond, so you keep asking the questions. But
There are major concerns like air, water, and construction traffic issues, not to mention close proximity to schools and our hospital. Citizens' utilities will increase while their property values decrease. Don't listen to what the snake oil salesman tells you. Ask Abilene taxpayers if they have seen increases. They will tell you yes. Remember when the city spent taxpayer dollars to send a few members down south to see how they did things so they could capture the best historic town in Texas and also the celebration capital of Texas? Why are we changing that? That's not what we want. We need you to listen and understand that that's not what we want, okay? This is a historic community. What went wrong? Why the change? Just how much of taxpayer money was spent on making Granbury a historic town? I mean, how much money did we just spend with putting up lighting and stuff like that? I mean, we want Granbury to be a lovely town.
Please get back to the 2,000
Okay, getting
acres.
to that. Now, not only do we lose everything, but we're going to have a big building full of computers and processing equipment. When I say big building, I mean 2.5 times the size of Walmart Supercenter.
Folks,
this is what you want your legacy to be as a city council member? You want generations to come to remember that you sold Granbury out? If you decide to vote for this annexation, then I will be actively working towards your recall.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Callaway, and I mean, again, if we could talk about the process of annexing property that is dirt at this point in time.
Well, Mr.
Callaway
Mayor and
Mr.
City Council.
Greg Anderson will follow.
My name is Tony Callaway, 4308 Anaconda Court in Granbury, Texas. The score is going to be tonight about 200-1 because I'm going to speak in favor of the annexation. And the reason I'm speaking in favor of the annexation is for a couple reasons. One, a little background. For 40 years, I was an architect and planner for corporate retailers as they expanded around the country. And especially in areas, it could be Flower Mound, could be Frisco, could be McKinney, all of those areas as Dallas expanded. People had, just like these wonderful people here, had real concerns about what was going to happen with that development. And many of them tried to stop it, but unfortunately, when Texas is such a desirable place to be, and we have as many people coming in and businesses want to come in, they basically are going to be here, and they're either going to be in the county or they're going to be in the city. And even though we'd like to fight it and say we don't want it in the city, the fact is if it's in the county, as Jeremy said, there are very few controls on development within the county. And the city gains no benefits for anything within the county. I've been here for 7 years since I retired. And I love this community, and I think it's a great community. But I think what these people are not quite understanding, and I know Jeremy tried to clarify that, is we have a process that in order for a piece of property to be developed in the city, and I must say, as I've talked to some of you, this city has the worst reputation for developers because of how difficult it is to develop anything here in the city of Granbury. And I've said that to some of you. And the reason, and I'll say that because whenever I developed the pickleball facility, it took me 10 months. So I'm complaining about that. But what I'm saying to you is this city does not just do things for the hell of it. They truly do represent you, and there is a very specific process that we go through, planning commission, city council. So all I'm saying is for a community to be a good, prosperous community, we need balance of uses, mixed use. We have limitations on us. We don't even have a paid fire department here. So there are obviously economic benefits that have to be balanced with the development issues. There's a process. You'll certainly have that opportunity to speak, but I certainly am in favor of the annexation.
Thank you, Mr. Callaway. Mr. Craig Anderson, that's okay. Let's let Mr. Anderson speak, please, and then Mac Bennett will be coming up next. Mr. Anderson?
Yes, thank you, City Manager, Mayor, Council members. I'm not much.
You may have to get that closer.
I'm not much of a speaker, but as plenty of people have said here, I like our community. As our chaplain said when he came in here, we're a beautiful community. We respect each other. We've got a wonderful place to live, and we want that to be harmonious. We don't want abrupt changes. Okay, I believe city manager, is it the mayor? I'm not sure, sir. He says this is all about annexation. This is just one step. The problem is I've been here 25 years. I saw the bypass planning. They were going to go way out. They're going to do a bridge crossing. They didn't do that. People wanted it closer, and now we have infrastructure problems. We're really behind the eight ball on so many things. Granted, the lawyer says it would be nice to have that tax revenue, but don't sell out the community for a little bit of tax revenue, because you're putting that burden on all of us that live here. There's no way around that. If these data centers or whoever goes in there, and I'm not saying that's going to, okay? You may not have been in those discussions. We don't know because you're under an NDA. Okay, but common sense says there's a financial motive for bringing that property in here. Now, the Scottish Rite individual that donated that, I can tell you, as a brother Mason, as a Scottish Rite member, he did not want industry on that property. It was for rural. It was for a particular intention. Now, big corporations get involved and things change. At the end of the day, whatever you're doing by annexing that property has to be balanced with the taxpayers that are suffering today. It takes me 17 minutes to get 12 stoplights in Granbury during the day. That's terrible. So our infrastructure is suffering, and we want to be a resort. We want to be holistic. We want to be a nice community. We want you guys to be good stewards of what you're doing to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mac Bennett, and then Mr. Ken Hackett.
My name is Mac Bennett, and I live at 3530 Daniels Court.
Lift that mic up just a little, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Good.
All right, Mac Bennett, 3530 Daniels Court, here to talk about what y'all's plan on doing. I live from where the property line stuff is probably a quarter of a mile away. I think y'all saying you don't know what's going there, but one of the things about it is there's something that's y'all got to have some kind of clue. Could they put a pig farm there? I know y'all got regulations, stuff like that, but it's just like we've been living there over 17 years, and it was quiet out there and stuff. Of course, then they built the airport. Now I have jets that fly over my house, land and stuff, 24 hours a day. But it seems like, I said, it was always quiet out there on Daniels Court. One of the things that, it seemed like the airport deal, things happen nobody knows about. It's just like we have jets that take off in the morning and stuff. It rattles the windows. This morning one took off, woke up my grandson. That's how low they come over the house. But, the dust control and stuff, if you don't have an idea of what's going there, why would you want to allow an annex? I think y'all need to really consider it, before you make that decision. I mean, I worked for the union. I was a business manager for the union and stuff. I know what happens and stuff when you talk to companies. And one of the things, you got to have an idea of what direction it's going. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Hackett. Following Mr. Hackett will be Mr. Brian Anderson.
Mayor, council, can you hear me, Clip? I came here with the same notion as most of the people here, is that this is all about a data center. But I want to change my position here because it is about annexation. And I think your point is well taken with me. I live on 4601 Shaw Road. I will drive by this site every day, coming and going to home. So what happens there is important. But what I do know, things have happened in the county that doesn't sit with any of us, and that is the Bitcoin, and there lies the problem, bad management. And I do believe the city could bring better management to whatever is developed there. So that I stand corrected on why I'm here. Now, Proverbs 1:5 says, and I had it up and it just jumped away from me. It says, a wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man understanding will acquire wise counsel. That's why I'm here, to learn, to hear what is going to happen to this site, and if it's a data center or if it's a 5,000 home development, which was previously approved, and I humility say I was part of that approval. Do you not think 5,000 home is not going to use a ton of water? And very little of it is recyclable. So let's put our better hats on. Let's let the city do what they do better than the county, and let us all show up in the next hearing when a land use plan is really submitted. And I will be here first to demand things that y'all haven't even thought of, and not the experts and not the lawyers, because that's what they're going to come and do, get everything they can from this community. And they need to put back what's been taken in the past. And I don't want to get into those details today, but I'm part of that problem. I'm here to help fix it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hackett. Mr. Anderson, and following Mr. Anderson will be Mr. Hamlet Piguero.
All right. I'm Brian Anderson. I live at 1105 Kalinko. I'm here to discuss the 2,000 acres plus that we're proposing on annexing. Now, that's a lot of land to be annexed, so we just need to be prepared for how we're going to manage that land. You know, that takes a lot of water, a lot of electricity, whatever is going to go in there. You know, it's going to take some planning, and I hope that we have enough water to do this, because in the past we have had droughts, and our lake goes down, and we really depend on that lake for tourism and property values. So just want to be to look at what we're going to be doing here. So that's about all I have to say about it, and if we don't like what's going to be going in there, we'll be back, I guess.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Anderson. Hamlet Piguero, and followed by Jacob Herbold. No, you need to press it so you have the red light. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Hamlet Piguero. I live on 2561 Meadowwood Road. I am a veteran of the United States Navy. I served for 21 years. My family and I decided to move to Texas, specifically Granbury and Hood County, because we wanted a slice of Texas. However little, 5 acres, but it is our slice and we own it. Along with our neighbors, we're all here because we want to respectfully ask that these comments, first of all, be included in the official record, And understand that this is concerning a voluntary annexation and not final approval of any specific development. However, annexation is not a neutral act. It is the legal gateway that enables zoning and utility, okay, and large-scale industrial development, which is something that's part of the scary part of this. Hood County has already experienced a significant increase in data center proposals. People live within a stone's throw away from this property. My property line butts right up to Knox Ranch. While data centers and electric generating facilities are not explicitly listed on tonight's agenda, there are already permit applications associated with major electric generation on this land. Okay? That fact makes the timing of this annexation relevant context to the public record. As an adjacent landowner who will remain in the county, I will experience the impacts of whatever follows annexation without receiving municipal services or representation. I'm not asking the council to debate these issues tonight. I'm asking the annexation not be treated as a procedural formality disconnected from its foreseeable consequences. Thank you, and please include this in the comments of the official record.
Thank you, Mr. Fairwell. Mr. Herbold, Jacob? Followed by Ms. Rachel Jacobson. There you go.
I'm Jacob Herbold. I live on Meadowwood Road, and I'm concerned about the annexation of this 2,000 acres around our neighborhood. The concern is it being turned into a data center. I've yet to meet anybody who wants to live next to one because of the reported air, light, noise pollution, as well as the water and energy consumption. On our website, city website, it's Where Texas History Lives, the celebration capital of Texas, 4-time winner of Best Historic Small Town in America. So my question is, do data centers fit with our identity as a town? I say no. Do the data centers harm, would the annexation that may lead to a data center harm the environment and people's health? It appears so. So I ask you to do whatever is in your power with this annexation and whatever follows to protect citizens and future generations from the harm that these data centers have shown to cause. And what will your legacy be? This question, how you answer this question is a big part of that. So please don't allow a good thing to be ruined. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Herbold. Ms. Jacobson and Ms. Rita Fleischner. Ms. Jacobson.
Hi, my name is Rachel Jacobson, and I live at 3111 San Gabriel Court. And I wanted to say thank you for allowing us this opportunity to speak. I'm here tonight as a mom and a concerned citizen who deeply loves this town. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to be heard, and frankly, many of us would like our voices heard when we feel like we've been intentionally sidelined and silenced in this process. Now, let me be clear, the secrecy surrounding Project Patriot and the proposed annexation of more than 2,000 acres of Hood County land is unacceptable. Residents have been left to rely on rumors and leaks while our elected officials are bound by non-disclosure agreements that prevent honest answers. That alone should concern every person in this room. Transparency is not optional. It is a foundation of public trust, and I have trust issues. When details are hidden until the last minute and votes appear to be predetermined, public comment becomes a checkbox, not participation. That is not how a healthy community is governed. This issue is bigger than just one project. It's the direction that Granbury is headed. We're watching a quiet rural community be pushed towards industrialization without meaningful consent from the people who live here. Massive, well, I can't say that, but what we suspect is going to come is not harmless to neighbors. We've already seen real-world consequences just outside of our city limits. What worries me the most is the precedent being set here in Granbury. If Granbury becomes a place where decisions of this magnitude are behind closed doors, protected by NDAs, what comes next? More annexations? more rush votes, more deals that benefit outside interests while residents are told to trust the process. I'm beginning to feel like you forget that you represent us, the constituents. So tonight, I respectfully but firmly ask the council to slow down, delay the vote, release the full details under the Public Information Act, environmental impact studies, incentive agreements, energy, water usage projections, health assessments. We need all of that. We deserve it. Hold additional public hearings where experts, landowners, and affected residents can speak openly. Let this decision be made by the community, okay, not just against the community, which is what it feels like. Granbury is not a commodity. It is our home, and it deserves leadership that values transparency, accountability, and long-term stewardship over rushed promises and short-term gains. Thank you for your time, and I sincerely hope that you choose to protect the people who've elected you to run this city.
Thank you for your words. Thank you. Ms. Fleissner, and then Mr. Daniel Piat, and that's the last one that I have, unless there's somebody else out there to let me know. Okay, Ms. Fleissner?
Cool. Good.
Do you have that?
Hello. We've been here since 1993, and we brought our family and moved here. Were you not finished?
You're going to need to get a little closer to the mic, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have been here since 1993. We brought our family here to live in the wide open spaces, and we moved from an industrialized area, Chicago, Milwaukee, and we own a trucking company there. And so the children have made their place here and raised their families. We all love it, but we have to go back to work, and then we come back home. And there's nothing like it anywhere. It's so beautiful here. And so we are concerned about the annexation and other things that have gone on, which I won't mention. It's just, and you have heard a lot of concerns and opposition tonight. These people have obviously done a lot of research into this matter of annexing the 2,000 acres plus and strongly oppose it. For that reason and that reason alone, I would encourage you to serve your voting base tonight and vote no, please.
Thank you, Ms. Piat. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Piat. Daniel, thank you, Ms. Fleissner. Daniel Piat, and then I do have one more. Is Daniel Piat here? P-I-A-T-T. Anybody downstairs? Okay. Mr. Foreman, did you say you signed up? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm sure I have it in here somewhere. Go ahead. We'll get Mr. Piat if he comes up. Mr. Foreman?
Hi, I'm Gary Foreman. I live at 3307 Windcrest Drive here in Granbury, Texas. I haven't lived here as long as most of you, but I have lived in my other lives in other cities where annexation took over our areas. San Antonio, you've heard of that place. Naperville, Illinois, and other places where annexation by cities took over clean, open areas. Now we're talking about this property, which is 2,090 acres, and that, according to my math, is 3.266 square miles. That is a lot of space. Now, I'm not going to blame the people who came up here, but they stole my speech for the good part of it, so I'll let you go. But I want to say this. I've been around in my previous lives and professions. I've been around a lot of planners, architects, and so forth. And I have to say, and I'm not pointing at Granbury, but I am pointing at the spirit of this country, and when it comes to tearing up our land and turning it into a heap. And we have, when my wife and I moved here not long ago, 2.5, almost 3 years ago, We were here for the reasons of the uniqueness that Granbury and Hood County presents itself as a unique rural experience. Now that property, and Mayor, I'm going to address that property, is in the heart of Granbury, coming on the west side. And it is flanked by very important sensitive areas. Here's what I'm going to suggest, and it's already been brought up to all of you. Too much is happening to this area, and we understand why. The pressure is on you, and I understand that stress that you face. But please listen to me, because I watch other communities just fall apart because they didn't do one simple thing. And this is different. I'm going to ask all of you to go in a room somewhere and get quiet and turn off everything and go into quiet time and go in here, not out there, in here, and find your answers. You know, what makes Granbury unique is about to go, and not just here, but across our country. We have to understand, regardless of what goes in that space, Mayor and Council, is that technology is rapidly changing. So I would ask you to hold back, do some real planning, and understand the evolution of all the technologies that are embracing cities and towns across this country, and realize the best is yet to come. Don't jump on it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Mr. Jim Bell, I have you wanted to speak on 7-2 as well. Is Mr. Bell still here? There you are. Yeah.
Is this thing on? Okay. Thank you for letting me speak.
Bell.
Please don't forget me on item 8, too. You know, I looked into this proposed annexation, and I found that it's been expected for over 20 years. I didn't know that. And this proposed annexation, over 2,000 acres, I don't know how much of this land is expected to be used for one purpose or another, but I have to tell you, I'm reading this paragraph, and it's a voluntary annexation and everything, but I see nothing in here to indicate what the land's going to be used for. So why is this annexation coming up now? I get the feeling I'm being slipped a Mickey here. If this annexation, if you're going to develop housing areas, daycare centers, restaurants and stuff like that, I wouldn't oppose that. And I get it, you people that live near there that have rural properties. I happen to live in the city. I feel for you, but what I'm afraid of is the obvious elephant in the room. So, just like everybody else, I've got my fingers crossed. I would really like to see you deliberate further on this. I'd like to see this item come up in a future agenda with an explanation of what you expect this property to be used for.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Okay, that's the public comments. Ms. Walker, do I have some more over there? Have I been able to lose them in this file? Come on up. For 7.2?
Yes.
Okay, you're either I've lost, I'll take it on me. I've lost the paper, so if you would if you duplicate that before you go, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Please push the button.
Yeah.
No, you turned it off. The little red light should be on.
Okay. My name is Misty Leatherwood. I live at 5005 Piper Drive, and I'd like to speak on the agenda of 7.2. While I do not live in the city limits, I do live in Hood County. Decisions made in this chamber, especially on the matters of water, air quality, and large-scale industrial development do not stop at the city boundaries. They affect everyone who lives, works, and invests in Hood County. This agenda item involves water that may be sold, possibly to a proposed power plant and data center. Since the city of Granbury draws its water from the Lake Granbury, your constituents have a right to know exactly how much water will be withdrawn from the lake each year to support this possible operation. How many Granbury residents live on shallow canals connected to this lake? What happens to their property values, their docks, and their livelihoods if that lake drops due to excessive water sales? These are not hypothetical concerns. These are real risks borne by real people. Additionally, the public deserves full transparency regarding air quality impacts. Hood County is already flirting with or in the telltale signs of non-attainment. How much additional pollution will this power plant generate, and how
There is no power plant, so
possible annexation that it could include this that will affect health, environment, and even sunsets that make this community so special. Before any vote is taken, the city should release clear, detailed information on, one, the annual water usage for the possible data center or power plant or whatever the annexation could be, studies based on the water usage of this land.
as we spoke earlier,
Independent.
and I'll give you your time, but as we spoke earlier, there's, as Mr. Callaway explained, I thought it was a compliment. We're one of the most difficult cities around to develop through, and we do have a very, very thorough and public program on that. But
We
we're
would love
talking
to
about
see
the
it.
annexation of the land.
Exactly. So
Okay.
regardless of the annexation, there needs to be studies based on the water usage of what would be proposed for the annexation. Can I finish, sir? Please.
It is about the annexation.
Yes, about the
Okay.
annexation. There will be additional usage of water, and the studies of such should be done and thoroughly evaluated. Additionally, independent third-party environmental studies based on air and water for whatever the annexation should be, the additional annexation of this area. Long-term sustainability for Lake Granbury under this and future demands for this area being added to this area. There will be people here, even if it is housing, sir. I sincerely hope this council has not accepted financial incentives without fully protecting the interests of its constituents. Transparency matters. Public trust matters. Have you
Okay.
considered the cumulative impact, not just
You-
this one project, but possible other projects as well?
Your time's up. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Quickly.
Hi, my name is Joanne. I'm a Somerville County resident. I'm a business owner here in Granbury. I own land here in Granbury. And let's see. With myself counted, that would be 20 to 1 that had the courage to get up here and speak that don't want this annexation. We sit here looking at you all, and some of you can't even look at the crowd. You hear the cheering downstairs. I just ask that you listen to the people. And I can tell you that from Glen Rose to Granbury to Fort Worth to Dallas, there may be people that are not here, but you're under a microscope because they're watching the live stream and there's reporters, and you're under a microscope right now.
The annexation.
About the annexation. I
Okay.
didn't say the word data center, but guess what? We don't want a data center. So we're frustrated because this is what we're getting when we come to city council meetings, to commissioners' court meetings, is we're getting the snickering and the faces and all this. You guys work for us. You represent us. I thought you guys weren't supposed to answer me, but I guess that's changed. So I just, out of the kindness of my heart, we're not mad at you specifically, at individuals. We're frustrated. We want to be protected. You're supposed to protect our health. You're supposed to protect our homes. We're a Christian community. We ask that you pray on this and that you vote no and you defer this until you can give us facts. What is this? How are you voting on something that you don't even know? Let's have some common sense. Listen to the people that are showing up here today. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, council. Questions? Anybody? I'm going to go ahead and close the public meeting at portion of 7.2. Comments, questions? Council? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I have a comment.
You have a comment. Go ahead.
Well, I heard a lot of comments about the city wanting to annex this land, and the landowner came to the city requesting to be annexed. That's all. It's not the other way around. The city wasn't looking to do this. The landowner came to us requesting to be annexed. And if the land is annexed by the city, we do have a lot of control we can exercise on it that the county can't. And it is a way of protecting the public. That's what our mission is. I mean, a lot of the comments are really nice. A lot of the comments, you know, it's like we're bad guys up here trying to do things that would negatively impact the city. We would never want to do that. Our whole goal is to make the city a better place to live. I've been here since 1981, and it's been a great place to live. It was a tiny little town when we moved here, 3 red lights in the whole town. And it's not that anymore. We're a small city, and we're a growing city. And, you know, whatever happens with that land, it's to be developed in a responsible way. That's our job. I mean, I felt like that's why I was elected, was to make wise decisions for the city, and I would never do anything other than that.
Council? Other comments? Questions? We have 2 options. We can approve the annexation, we can deny the annexation. Do I hear a motion on 7.2 as read earlier? Consider adopting ordinance number 26-02, approving the request of Granbury Ready Land Partners petition for voluntary annexation of 2,090 acres.
So moved.
Mr. Wadley makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Overdeer seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. That passed 6-0. Okay. Now we're going to move to another annexation, 7.3. Consider adopting ordinance number 26-03, approving the request of CJB Development's petition for voluntary annexation of 18.08 acres, platted as Lot 1, Block 1, excuse me. We're reading through this. It's Lot 1, Block 1, Enterprise Edition. The property is located at 4911 Old Granbury Road. I'm going to hold off in just a minute to let the crowd clear, if that works for you guys. In fact, I'm going to declare that we're going to recess for about 5 minutes till we can get some water. We'll come back at 7:45. Okay, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to call this meeting back into session. We'll start again on 7.3, public hearing considering adopting ordinance number 26-03, approving the request of CJB Development's petition for voluntary annexation of 18.08 acres platted as lot number 1, block 1, Enterprise Edition. The property is located at 4911 Old Granbury Road. Ms. Wawi?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. This request again is an annexation. This slide shows the site located along actually 4911 Old Granbury Road. Apologize for that mistype. It's approximately 18 acres in total size. Staff has received all of the pertinent materials, including voluntary annexation request, conducted an assessment, and we recommend approval of the request. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Council, do you have questions about this? Councilwoman Parker, did you have a question? Okay. Okay. Any other questions? No? Well, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. I have no one that's signed up. Does anybody want to speak on this? Just raise your hand or stand, come to the podium. I see no one standing, no one raising their hand, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Other comments or questions about this 18.8 acres on Old Granbury Road? No comment? Do I hear a motion on public hearing to approve the adopting of ordinance number 26-03 as written? Ms. Barker?
Second. So moved.
Ms. Barker make the motion.
Second.
Paul just.
Second by Mr. Oberdeer. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. That'll be approved 6-0. 7.4. Another public hearing. Consider adopting ordinance number 26-04, approving the request of Robert Newton, N&Z Properties LLC petition for voluntary annexation of 4.168 acres of the John Howard Survey Abstract number 717 and platted as lots 25-28 of the Gateway Edition, Hood County, Texas. The property is located at 200 Gateway Park. Ms. Wally?
Thank you, sir. This property is shown on this slide in teal. It's approximately 4 acres in total size. Staff has conducted an analysis and assessment. This also accompanies the next item on the agenda, and staff is recommending approval of the annexation. Thank you.
Okay. Council, have questions? Staff? Ms. Wowie? No? No questions here. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone would like to speak on this? Stand, raise your hand. Okay. I see no one, so I'll close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to approve the adoption of ordinance number 26-04, approving the request of Robert Newton N&Z Properties LLC as a petition for voluntary annexation of 4.168 acres of the John Howard Survey?
So moved.
Mr. Corrigan makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Ullum seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. I hear no nays. That'll pass 6-0. Number 7.5. Consider adopting ordinance number 26-05, approving the request of Kayla Wood for a zoning change from interim holding to planned development / light commercial. The property is located at 203 Gateway. Ms. Wally?
Thank you. This particular site is located again at 203 Gateway Court. It is outlined in teal on the map. It's currently undeveloped property, and it's located on the north side of Highway 377 on the east side of town, just past M&M Ranch Road. A plat has been submitted for review. It currently is not platted. That plat is proceeding through review. The request is for a planned development with light commercial base zoning, and the applicant has submitted for a farm and ranch store. So this is the zoning map. It shows the context of the property. And zoning to the east and west of the site is interim holding, and to the south is light commercial zoning. So the zoning would be in context with the surrounding area, much of which is still undeveloped, but would come in for future commercial type of uses. This is a comprehensive plan. You'll note that the comprehensive plan on the slide shows both commercial and retail office as land use designations. Both of those would be accepting to the light commercial zoning district. We have our new comprehensive plan. The 2025 plan contains these sheets that are called dashboards, and they assist us in evaluating the appropriateness of land use for the base land use plan recommendations. So here you can see retail office, and it might be a little bit hard to crunch your eyes up, but right there the high compatibility is light commercial and heavy commercial, so business commercial. The next slide shows the commercial land use designation, which also contains the light commercial, so it's fully compatible with the comprehensive plan land use designations. And this is the site plan. The applicant submitted a plan development request with the light commercial district to have the store, and had several variances. On the site plan, we can see the outdoor display in teal. Towards the bottom of your screen is the Highway 377, followed by the parking area, and teal on the left of the parking area. They would propose to have their outdoor display in that area. In working with the applicant, staff was able to secure additional improvements, including a fence that would be a more decorative fence than just an open view to that area. So that aids in tempering the view there. They're requesting a primary wall sign greater than that allowed. With some of the larger buildings in town, we have granted deviations from the strictness of the code when there's a larger building area that a sign can be placed on. A smaller sign is just going to look very tiny, if you will. And this building is set far back from the street. Additionally, there are several more PD variances. The open storage area is labeled as a garden center and a steel yard. These areas flank, I need to go back to the, thank you. Oops, sorry. I want to see the site plan. Thank you. Okay. These areas flank the east and the west sides of the main building. So you see these rectangles around a larger building area. Those are the open storage, garden center, and steel yard areas. They're proposed to have a 8-foot tall painted concrete block and steel tubing type of fencing around the area rather than the solid screening. Staff feels that these set far enough back from the street that this is acceptable, and we do have some of this treatment throughout our community. Regarding outdoor display would be on the front of the building where there'd be open porches, and those would provide outdoor display in those areas. While the code strictly requires that the display be within 20 feet of the building and has set time frames where the display would be left out. And so the applicant is seeking to have the display at all times, so they wouldn't be bringing in and out from the building those products. The next one is architectural features, so I'll move forward with this slide here. This is just an example of rendering of a typical Atwoods store, and this is rendering that the applicant is proposing here. It would look somewhat like this. So the unique architectural features that the applicant requests as a variance is from the exterior wall or parapet of the building with a horizontal distance of 5% maximum building height. So that's the steps ups and steps outs for the building. They don't provide for this. However, as you can see in this diagram, there are significant projections towards the vertical projection at where the Atwood sign is in the middle of the building. And then with the covered porch, that gives a little bit of variation and a break to that solid building plane that otherwise would exist. Then we have the roof line, a portion of which would not meet the code. The roof is required to have a minimum pitch of at least 412, and this proposed roof pitch would be 1/2 inch in 12 feet in some portions. Again, the slope of that front elevation alleviates some of those concerns, and you can see on the bottom elevation how that roof line is flat. So I'll just move towards, these are the more formal sketches of the building. You can see each side of the building in this elevation drawings. This is the landscape plan. They actually exceed the requirements and go beyond this. The reason for the 10% landscape reduction is due to the 2 areas in the back of the building that increase the landscape requirements. One is which is a septic field, and the other of which is a large drainage basin. So it's just really not possible to landscape those areas. Regarding public notice, staff satisfied all of the notice requirements, including the mail, the newspaper, the publishing of the website, and the sign. We did not receive anything back in favor nor in opposition of the request. Staff's recommendation is approval of the request subject to the PD standards and conditions in the reports attached ordinance exhibit, and the Planning Commission recommended approval with the same PD restrictions. These are your voting options. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Council? Mr. Owen?
Why are we looking at a septic area instead of tying into the pipes?
Right. So with the septic, the distance to the septic is farther than the city actually has a required tie-on to. And if someone's here that can know this differently, please let me know. And then a septic permit would have to come before council at a later date per city code.
Okay. Mr. Wadley?
Chair, with regards to the outside display around the perimeter, in the photograph it had lawn equipment. Is there limitations to what they can display, or is it just going to be like lawn equipment or small trailers or whatever? Do you know?
So the applicant has not requested for a small implements use. I think we're familiar with those that are much larger than lawnmowers, which are displayed here on this slide.
Okay.
I think you can see the squeeze chutes there on the top picture. You can see that that's farm equipment, ranch equipment. That's a squeeze chute made by Preferred. And they probably have corral fencing similar to what you see at Home Depot or Lowe's outdoor display, okay, or Tractor Supply.
Other questions, staff? No? I do have a Mr. Perry Harvey that signed up to speak on this. Mr. Harvey?
I'm speaking on item 7.6.
Got it. So I have no one, but I'm going to open up the public hearing as anyway. Anyone want to speak on this? Okay. I see no one. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Okay. Council, do I hear a motion to adopt ordinance number 2605, approving the request of Kayla Wood for a zoning change from interim holding to planned development like commercial property at 203 Gateway?
So moved.
Mr. Wadley?
Second.
Mr. Olam seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That'll pass 6-0. Another public hearing. Consider adopting ordinance number 2606, approving the request of Wyatt Young for a zoning change from light commercial R 8.4 and R 0.12 single-family residential to R.7 single-family residential. The property is located at 1331 Lipan Highway. Ms. Wally?
Great, thank you. This slide shows the location of the site outlined in teal. It is approximately 25 acres in total area and is somewhat of an infill site along Lipan Road. There to the west is some property that's undeveloped and a very large property to the south that has a house on it and some outbuildings. So I think we could consider that developed or just a large development with one house. The existing zoning is shown on this slide. It includes light commercial, R 8.4, that's residential 8,400 square foot, and residential 12, which is 12,000 square foot, single family, both of those. The proposed zoning is R7 for single family residential, which is 7,000 square foot lots. This is the future land use map, which shows the low density residential. That land use category does include the R7 district. So the proposed zoning is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. Planning and zoning considerations are these. Essentially, these are identifying whether or not the proposed zoning would be fitting of the property. As we've reviewed, the future land use designation is appropriate. Infrastructure is in the area. New connection would need to be made to expand services through the development, and the change could create more school demand because it's residential, of course. The request is aligned with the comprehensive plan, again, for low-density residential. There are a few properties in the vicinity having standard R7 zoning, and the proposal would increase the land area of R7 zoning in this city. We did satisfy all of the notification requirements. Now on this slide it says we haven't received anything in support or in opposition to the request. However, there was I think a couple of people, maybe only one, that spoke at Planning and Zoning Commission. Staff is recommending approval of the request as standard zoning, so it doesn't come in with a PD as part of the ordinance, just straight zoning. And Planning and Zoning Commission had the same recommendation. These are your voting options, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have those. Thank you.
Questions for Ms. Wally? No? This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Mr. Perry Harvey.
Good evening. Thank you. I live at 815 Kinson Road. It's a 1928 farmhouse on 8 acres. This property abuts my land on 2 sides. I was not notified of the planning and zoning meeting nor of this council meeting. Apparently, whoever does the records has not bothered in the last 6 months to record us as the proper owners. We bought this last summer and we've been remodeling. I've spent over 50 years in real estate development and marketing. When I look at this property, the rezoning is increasing the density. And this is, I've seen the proposed plat for this property, and it's for the benefit of the investors, not for the benefit of future owners. There is not one iota of open space. There's not a park, a cookout area, any amenities for the owners. I would ask the planning department, do they have to come back to P&Z and council for specific approval of their land use plan?
Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you. This does not require them to come back with an approval to council for a plat, if that's, I think, what you mean by a land use plan.
Well,
So it'd be the layout of the lots. They're not required to come before a hearing.
all right, because we're lower in elevation than this property. They have two detaining ponds for runoff. They're not retaining their runoff, they're detaining it. And then they're going to release it onto my property. And right now, the historic rainfall is cleansed by Mother Nature. Once it's coming off of paved roads with oil and gas, once it's coming with insecticides, pesticides, fertilizers, I don't want it on our land. So I would urge the planning department to look at that and work with me. So if I can get a hold of you, I'll get with the engineers and talk about this, because it's a travesty in our opinion. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Others? Are there others who would like to speak on this? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close the public meeting then. Council, questions? I think there are a few. Mr. Ellen, anybody? Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Here, I wasn't able to hear your response about they would have to come back to us with a final plat.
Actually, in this case, they wouldn't necessarily have to come back to council because we have the administrative approval process through the subdivision ordinance. We put that in place not so long ago. The concern that the speaker had regarding drainage would be reviewed through construction drawings associated to the plat review. And those construction drawings would include drainage plans to demonstrate how the water would flow across the different properties and through the basins.
So my question about the notification is: has there been a change in property owners or what?
It's my understanding there was a change in property owners. It does take some time to receive updated property owner lists from the county.
So we're required by law to use the owner of record on the tax appraisal district roll, and that's what we've done. And so, yeah, it takes a little while to get the new stuff to us, I guess, or updated on their maps and their data at the appraisal district.
Oh, okay. Anybody?
Just for
Go ahead, Mr. Corrigan.
Mayor, just for clarification, to Bruce's question and to a point that I think has already been made, you have the ability to administratively approve this if it meets all of our requirements. If there's any variation to those requirements for one reason or another, then it would have to come to council for consideration.
That's a good point. If we had to deny, we would administratively take that action, and then we'd go through review to the city manager and council.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Oberdeer.
So Kira, in answer to this gentleman's questions, I mean, this property cannot put water on his land, correct? I mean, it can't be allowed to drain on his land?
So when development occurs, a development can't put more water on a property than its existing condition without the development.
Can you repeat that last?
Sure. I'm sorry. When a property develops, it can't put more water on the adjacent properties, if you will, than what existed prior to that development occurring. Right.
And we have hydraulic engineers that review those plans and ensure that that does not happen. That's the intended use, is to make sure that the code is met. We have paid licensed engineers to review what's submitted by their engineers to ensure, so that we're not taking the word of the developer's engineer. And by the way, we send the bill to the developer for that review, for our engineer. So it's truly a developer's responsibility to develop their property in accordance with our code.
Go ahead, Mr. Wadley.
He stated that there was no green spaces. Would a property this size not be required to have some park space, walking trails, whatever?
No, not for this development. We haven't had that. There's a parks consideration, and we look at the master plan for our parks and recreation, and we don't find that. So then the option is a parks in lieu fee, which then supports park development where parks are planned for.
You may recall in our master park plan, they specifically said we don't want little pocket parks everywhere. And so that is why that this is not required to have a pocket park. It's required to pay money in lieu of that so that we can invest that money in a larger park.
Is there are we on a timeline or a time constraint here?
They've been waiting for the moratorium to end before they brought this forward. So this has been in the works for at least 5 years. And John Hall is the representative, and I see him out in the audience. If you'd like to ask him some questions, maybe we can get him up to the podium.
Mr. Hall, you willing to spend a little time with us? Thank you, sir.
I will say that when this project began, they were trying to do duplexes and townhomes, high density, and we advised them we didn't think that the council would approve that. So they've retooled their project to be an R7.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, and Council. My name is John Hall. I live at 3506 Fountain Way. Yes, we've been working on this land for several years, but recently we realized that it would be a much better project for the city to do our zoning at the R7, which essentially, as everyone knows, I think it's at least a 7,000 square foot lot. But these are a little larger than that. We do have we have several common areas, but we have two that are truly common areas. A couple are detention ponds, and frankly, we will be releasing much less water. We'll improve the water release onto Mr. Harvey's property. I have been to visit with Mr. Harvey at least twice with our engineer, Baird Hampton Brown, one of the finest engineering firms in this area, and we have an excellent drainage plan. We certainly will comply with the city requirements. I feel like we have. In visiting with Mr. Harvey, he asked that we have two entrances, one off the Lipan Highway, Highway 4, and one off Thorpe Spring Road. The Thorpe Spring Road entrance, which is called Stagecoach Trail, approved by 911 addressing, had dead-ended into his property, which he objected to because of headlights coming and facing what actually is the front of his home, which is deeper into his 8.5 acres. That was not our original plan. Our original plan was to do a 90-degree turn at that point, but Rex Bell, who owned this property before him, requested that we dead-end it because in his mind it would be a much better fire and safety entrance in his property if his house caught fire. And so we complied, and we brought that road straight to Mr. Harvey's property. Now, it is unfortunate that Mr. Harvey apparently was not, I want to be careful with this, apparently was not represented by the folks that sold the property to him about what was going to be next to him. And but he bought, this is a fine couple, he bought it from a fine couple, well, a widower, and who passed away with cancer. I had visited with both of them. We have redesigned our plat now to turn that road 90 degrees so it will not be cars heading into the headlights there, into his property. He has already put substantial berms on his side of the common property line, and they're planting trees and bushes. I'm not sure what type, but that would grow tall and thick. And we understand that. We want to support him, but the fact that we have told him that our detention ponds, we will work our release of that water once we get a big rain and hold water in those ponds. We will release that so that it flows gradually through the natural drainage channel that has always led from that area down to a pond on his property that he says he wants to keep full. Well, we'll work with him on that. But it's much better than having a retention pond that can overflow, where you don't control the release of the water, and that we definitely will not be increasing the water flow onto his property from the existing flow. We feel like we have a beautifully designed community. We feel like it will compare very, very favorably with some of the big boys that are doing other developments now in Granbury. We feel like there'll be better quality. We've done everything we can, and we'll continue to do everything we can to comply with this council and planning and zoning. I'm available for any questions.
I have no more. Mr. Harvey? You done? Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hall. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else to speak? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close the public session of this agenda item, 7.6. Comments, questions? No? No? You know, I understand what we have to do here, but I also understand that it's you know, this is a neighborly community, and I'm hoping that you guys are able to work this out, because I know the individual, one of the individuals involved. So if we can work this out to everybody's satisfaction, and if you need assistance from the city, Mr. Harvey, Mr. Hall, they're here. They're here for you. Okay. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve or adopting ordinance number 2606, approving the request of Wyatt Young for a zoning change from light commercial R84 and R12 single to family residential to R7 single family residential property at 1331 Lipan Highway?
So moved.
Ms. Parker makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Corrigan makes a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That will pass 6-0. I hear no nays. Okay, that takes us out of the deliberation agenda to item number 8, which, get back to the agenda here. Item number 8, citizen comments on matters not on the agenda. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes for a combined total of 30 minutes allotted at this time for comments regarding matters not listed on the agenda. The City Council will be allowed to receive input or information for future agenda items, but will not be allowed to enter into discussion. So I have 9 people here, so we have the 3-minute limits here. So Mr. Matt Long is the first participant.
Well, I want to congratulate the city on growing by about 25% today. I am glad to hear council say that you are going to be more stringent on these developments than potentially the county will be, because the county is going to be very stringent on these. So I want to pray in Jesus' name that this site that was just annexed today will not become a data center, because recently Hood County has faced an onslaught of large-scale industrial and technological data center developments and their accompanying power plants wanting to make our county a sacrificial zone for the next phase of human existence. And while this has been discussed at length at the county level, I just wanted to bring it up here so that I can stress to you the seriousness of the situation and the side effects that these facilities bring with them. These side effects are independent of the fact that we're currently constructing our own future enslavement, that we are voluntarily replacing nature with technology, and that we're choosing to create a national infrastructure that is so large we're essentially consenting to government bailouts for its survival. A list much larger than this you can find at rejectbigtech.com, but among the side effects are loss of property value, massive draws on water and power, extreme health concerns like cancer, loss of hearing, loss of bone density in children, and poor air quality, of which Hood County has already seen a portion of each of these at the Mara facility near Mitchell Bend. These people's lives have literally been ruined, and yet there are 3 or 4 more potential facilities in the works. The Pacifico facility near Pecan Plantation is going to be 23 times larger than Mara. The Amazon facility is going to be 31 times larger. The Comanche Circle facility is going to be a monster at 100 times larger than the current Mara facility that we have already had an absolutely terrible experience with. The size of Comanche Circle is 2,100 acres. The size of the parcel that we annexed today is 2,100 acres. So for some perspective, the size of these data center buildings are almost 3 times the size of a Walmart, and Comanche Circle is aiming to build close to 50 of these buildings. And again, that parcel is the exact same size as the parcel we annexed into the city today. So these developers do not care about the beauty of Hood County. They don't care about the historic nature of Granbury. We simply fit in their formula for power, water, and proximity. So if this is allowed to proceed, I do believe we will become a sacrificial zone. Our air quality is already at critical levels with what we currently have in place, and we're looking at multiplying it by 250 times with all of the projects that are in the works. So if you want any more information on that, please go to rejectbigtech.com. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Thank you, Mr. Long. We have Brian Glenn, and following him is John Highsmith. Mr. Smith. Mr. Glenn?
Thank you. This is actually the preface of what I talked about on 7.2, and it's all that I couldn't talk about on 7.2. So maybe listen to this first and then listen to what I said before. My name is Brian Glenn. I live at 9170 MacArthur Court. I want to talk to you about slowing down this blitzkrieg of computer data center industrialization of Hood County. I might be a little late on this now that you've ruled, but I want to pass this data on to you for your info. Currently, there are 8 data centers in operation or being built or planned that I know of. Wolf Hollow 1-2 is operating. Now 3 is approved by TCEQ last week. It's a combined cycle gas steam turbines Bitcoin mine. It is air-cooled. It sounds like all the time, 24/7, 365. It's 150 acres for Wolf Hollow 1 and 2. I'm not sure about 3. We've got Decadorva is operating. It's a gas steam turbines and a battery energy storage system, BESS. It's only 83 acres and it's on the most lovely river location I could possibly imagine here. I haven't got any more on that. Fort Spunky. This is in concept plan right now, awaiting Commissioner's Court approval. It's a simple cycle gas turbines. It's less efficient, more pollution, and it's another BESS. It's 560 acres. They applied for a permit in Johnson County, though most of it's in Hood County, and they lied about attaining National Ambient Air Quality Standards, NAAQS. Johnson County is said to be in non-attainment. We just haven't admitted it yet. Commercial, Comanche Circle, my favorite. It's across the highway from where I live. It's awaiting Commissioner Court approval also. That's another combined gas, steam turbines, gas, pollution, burning the gas, steam, water. There's all kinds of other water being used to cool the computers in this data center, which I like to call the MOAD. It's the mother of all data centers. 2,600 acres is what I've got. And it has been touted as being the largest in the country. Based on what we've seen with TCEQ approvals, air quality submittals by developers are based on non-validated math equations, software algorithms, and computer simulations. They look at only one chemical pollutant at a time. They consider no cumulative effects, like Wolf Hollow 1 and 2, while they're looking at 3, and no air quality measurements to compare and validate the model. The model can't be validated unless you can make it reproduce data that you measure. The Patriot Project, we've already talked about that. And
Thank
approved
you.
the land.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn.
Spectrum is a new one I just heard about down in Somerville County, right next to Squaw Valley.
Mr. Highsmith.
Squaw Creek.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, I'm John Highsmith, live at 9712 Bell Chase Road, Granbury. And I'm here tonight to provide information regarding Bilateral Energy, LLC. Bilateral Energy is headquartered in Houston and states they are a power generation company for data centers. Bilateral has filed a permit listing a street address of 1225 Meadowwood Road, Granbury. As you are aware, Hood County has a special designation by the legislature that seeks to protect Hood County from unwise development. In fact, Texas County Code 231, Subchapter K is very unique, the only one in Texas, but the county has to do some work. There will be a presentation, Commissioner's Court, in early February, seeking a one-year moratorium on development for large industrial projects. So the city annexation would remove annexed area from the potential protections of Chapter 231, Subchapter K. And here are some new things because, you know, new information continues to come in regarding these projects. So a pause is certainly logical and potentially very beneficial. One thing, Hood County Clean Air Coalition has concluded a study on several air contaminants in Hood County, and the TCEQ monitoring station in Midlothian has been down since April 2022. After work with Senator Birdwell's staff, monitoring will resume by the end of this year, so wouldn't you like to have this study presented before making annexation decisions? And number two, did you know that gas is not gas? Some gas is what they call scrub gas, essentially cleaner gas. Seems like something that you'd like to understand better. And did you know that some algicides used in data centers and these power plants contain PFAS? I think we know the problems PFAS causes, especially if PFAS gets into water treatment sludge. Now, did you know that noise is additive? There will be 8 simple cycle power turbines proposed by Bilateral Energy, and noise output is around 70 decibels per turbine. But when all turbines are running, the noise level would be approximately 79.03 decibels. And also changes in noise is logarithmic. So 79.03 decibels is quite a bit noisier than 70 decibels. And I ran the distance from this 1225 Meadowwood to Granbury Opera House is 2.5 miles. So I think it can be a very significant source of noise for all of Granbury. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Highsmith. Ms. Laura Barton, followed by Misty I'll really mess this up. Misty Lethorn? Ms. Barton?
Good evening. It's been a long evening for all of us. Myself, Lori
Get the
Barton.
the mic, I think, a little closer.
You mean
Thank
you
you.
Can't hear me? Oh, okay. My name is Lori Barton. My family has lived in this county since the 1850s. I am passionate. Oh, by the way, I live at 2631 Underwood Court, right off Peak Road. I own 58 acres in the Paluxy River Valley. I'm very passionate and involved in fighting the data center that's trying to come in and pollute and change our way of life and our land that has been in my family for so long in the Paluxy River Valley. One of my concerns with this annexation was so much of the things that I've heard from others on the annexation on 7.2 was what's going to happen with that land. I want to tell you that I appreciate and I'm depending on your good, wise decisions on regulating the voluntary annexation of these acres. I'm praying God guides you in your decisions regarding our future in Granbury and all of our surrounding properties in Hood County. I'm well aware, I wasn't brought up here, but I've been in Hood County and in Granbury since '92. I'm well aware that we have stringent regulations, as Mr. Callaway was bringing up, on development. I mean, we've seen in our Hood County news where some of the development companies and some of the city have been all mad because they haven't brought in the developments. But if they do, then we get mad too. I want you to protect us. I want you to remember that our children and our young people in these communities are what's going to keep us going in the future. I just turned 70, so I'm going to put it out there. We who are elder, which there are many, many, many of us in this community, in this county, as we age, what do? We get compromised immune systems. We get compromised lungs. We get compromised hearts. I'm real concerned about anything that affects our air quality in this county and in the city. I'm very concerned. I've watched this river, our great Brazos River, go from a little river down in the bottom of the big draw to becoming Lake Granbury. It's changed our community. Let's consider for the future how our water's going to be used, how our roads are going to be impacted, how our hospitals are going to be impacted, our schools, and our emergency responders. We do have a volunteer fire department. And if we're going to bring on a lot of industry, a lot more residential areas, then we need to think about that because all those things need to be protected and upgraded. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barton. Now, I'm going to try it again. Missy Leather, L-E-A-T-H-A-N-I-W? Doesn't say Leatherwood. On Piper Drive? She did? Okay. Mr. Ron Sutton?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. City Manager, and esteemed staff, thank y'all for what y'all have done for our community. Y'all were handed off a great baton from the people that preceded you. And now that puts a lot of responsibility not only on you, but also on all of us to keep this great thing going. I do want to be really clear about a couple of things. I oppose data centers. That's one thing. The other thing is I oppose any industrial complex that will pollute and plunder our natural resources. I've heard a couple of people reference subchapter K. That should really be called Special K, because that is for Hood County. And we can put teeth in that to safeguard our county. I'm not concerned about the legacy that you are going to leave, because you've got a great legacy already. I am concerned about the inheritance that you're going to pass on to our children and grandchildren. Someone mentioned that we have very high standards, and we're even considered difficult to deal with building programs, building standards. I think we should raise them. I thought that was a great compliment. Let's keep doing things that make Hood County and Granbury better, not worse. Data centers are needed. They're necessary. There's one in my hometown, Abilene, Texas. And Abilene is desperate. They need something like that. New Mexico, southern New Mexico, needs that. Maybe a data center the size of Walmart, or 50 of them, would improve the topography of that part of the country. The reason that data centers don't want to go there is because it costs them too much money. They'd rather come here where natural resources are abundant and plunder and pollute. I dare say that in the long term, our county will receive more tax revenue from tourism and recreation from any industry. As a matter of fact, if we take care of business, take care of our county, we are going to become an oasis for tourism and recreation. All of Hood County is a watershed. We must protect our rivers and our lake. I appreciate what you do. God bless you, and God bless Hood County.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. And Catherine Engel on Spriester Court, Toller. Okay. You guys are doing this to me on purpose, I think. Dale Monahan on Himes Drive here in Granbury. Mr. Gary Foreman. Did he leave too? No. Oh, well, come forward, please.
Well, I didn't realize I signed up twice. So,
you did.
As I said earlier in my first presentation, that I've been exposed to and experienced what happens when people with substandard planning commissions or departments take over important parts of our cities. I saw this in San Antonio, and now, I don't know if you know this, but it's basically almost prohibitive for anyone to do anything between San Antonio and Austin. Why? Because they don't have any more water. They're out. And I don't know if you know what's going on here, but we are also facing a mini drought. And if you look at the water levels, I noticed that the current level is about 74% at this time, according to state records. What I really feel is the biggest problem of all is that our communities, and this is not just here, but throughout America, We get so trendy with what other people expect of us. And that trendiness is so short-sighted, because if you understand the technology that's just around the corner, it is so more efficient, takes less of the footprint up than anything else. President Trump, his family, and his circle of investors are going into fusion technology right now. They're not depending on what all of you and all of us are worried about. It's getting smaller and more efficient. What I wanted to convince all of you to do right now is consider one thing. Ask yourself the question, what makes Hood County, what makes Granbury unique? That's an important question. And then once you decide what is that uniqueness and what you want for those millions yet to come, which our forefathers talked about 250 years ago, the millions yet to come, I don't hear most people today asking that question, what is going to happen to those millions yet to come? You need to retreat a little bit and look at the 40,000-foot view about what's really happening here. Get out of the trenches and look bigger and understand that you're at a critical crossroads right now in this country. If you look across here and everywhere else, this whole planet is at a major crossroads, and we better decide right now what makes us unique and how we're going to keep that special uniqueness intact for those millions yet to come. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Plummer. That is all that we had signed up. Okay. That's all the paperwork I had. Please come forward and give us your name. You did sign up, Mr. Bell. Twice on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Bell?
Thank you for letting me speak. I'm Jim Bell, again. Yeah, I couldn't help but notice when we were going through the items after 7.2, they had plat maps, plans, landscaping, all kind of stuff.
There was nothing there.
But when they were looking at the annexation of 7.2, they got nothing. They had no plans, made public statements that there was no bids coming in or anything like this. I did some research. These data centers, a lot of people think that they're industrial. They're not. They're technology. And technology has a higher priority than industrial. If all of this land goes to data centers because of the massive size, it will be equal to a full campus of data centers and will be larger than any other data center that has been proposed in our area so far. There will be 3 to 4 times the current draw on our water and power, not all of which goes to the data centers. The power plants they'll need to build will draw water also. According to my research so far, all power plants, regardless of what they are, nuclear, gas, whatever, produce their electricity with steam. That's water. And the power plants, they don't have watershed. They fully consume that. Any watershed from the data centers will be treated by EPA standards, which is antiquated and hasn't been updated since the 70s. Is virtually useless. Lake Granbury can't support this much water drain, and since Lake Granbury is considered salt water, these people will most likely pull the water from Possum Kingdom, which has cleaner water, and they're going to have to pipe that in. That's still going to affect Lake Granbury because we get our water from the release that they give on Possum Kingdom. Now, typically, data centers draw as much power as a city. The water drawing will cause Lake Granbury to once again drain down. When I bought my house in Water's Edge in 2015, I could walk across the canal without getting my knees wet. Back then it was fracking. We're going to see that again. And to address the elephant in the room, nobody believes that nothing's coming there. Nobody believes that there's nobody planning to do anything. And I looked into NDAs, and at first I thought, if this is true, fine. Well, I know those NDAs exist because I found a commissioner in Somerville County who refused to sign it. So how can you represent us properly with transparency if you're going to sign an NDA? That's secrecy.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bell. Appreciate it. Well, come on up. We still have, because of the 3 people that didn't show, we still have time for the 30 minutes here. Is there anybody else? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for letting me speak. Carolyn Reeves, I live on Neareye Road in Granbury. Appreciate you, councilman, mayor, city manager. Yes, we don't trust the government at this point with Minnesota and their daycare centers and a lot of other things are coming to truth. We don't trust the government. So for you to tell us there's not going to be a data center there, we don't believe you. We believe there is going to be a data center. We also believe they're going to use a lot of our water, they use a lot of our electricity, and those costs are going to burden us. I moved here to Granbury because it's beautiful here. I love the square. It's very Norman Rockwell. Got excited, got a business on the square. And then we started getting regulated by the city with, hey, what kind of furniture are you going to put in your Airbnb, your Airbnb, and you need to put up walls and all these new regulations. So when you annex 2,000 acres and say, we don't know what's going to go there, and we'll think about, we'll work it out later. How come you regulate a little business so defined, but yet 2,000 acres, you don't care what goes there? So it's hard to believe that you burden the small people of Granbury who love this town, but you let these big corporations come in and put these huge buildings in, and they don't help us at all. They're going to be obsolete in 10 years. There'll be smaller data centers to take their place, or they'll just go out of business and there'll be a big, ugly building there just standing there. When I drove into Granbury, like I said, it was beautiful, but I wouldn't come here if I knew there was data centers coming in. I wouldn't visit here. I wouldn't come and vacation. The square might be great, but I have to pass all those data centers to get to the square, and I wouldn't want to. Those are just ugly to me. They're just like the same with the towers. You just destroy Granbury, and people won't want to move here. We'll leave. And then you'll have just these data centers that don't bring any jobs. They suck the life out of us. And we're already paying top dollar for our taxes. I don't want to, my property is going to go down in value. You're going to still want the same property taxes out of me, but you're not going to want, it's not going to be valued at that. People won't want to move here. So what I want to know is, do you want to be Field of Dreams where people want to come here and visit and remember their past, or you want to be the Terminator where you have all these IAs spying on you? Thank you.
Thank you. I know I shouldn't, but is there anyone? No. Hopefully you're kidding, right? No? Please do.
Hello? Okay.
Your name
my
and
name's
address,
Ephraim
please.
What's that?
Name and address, please.
Okay. My name's Ephraim Garcia. I live at 132 Meadows Drive North. Since this is the open comments section, some things I just wanted to observe and remind you guys. I feel like the general consensus on the city council here, from what I've seen today, is you're managing the city with the mindset that it's a business, that your job is to bring in increased revenue. The businesses that you allow here will bring in increased revenue, and that's what you're basing your decisions on. But it's actually the city council's job to manage the city in a way so that it maintains the quality of life for the residents. And sometimes that means slowing down growth. Sometimes that means waiting for us to have the infrastructure to handle the developments that are approved and put in. And I'm not necessarily pointing the finger at you guys because you were not in here in years past, but I'm kind of starting to see the same trend where decisions are being made in a way where development that is preferred or being allowed to progress is not beneficial to the city. I feel like we need to slow down all development in general and allow the infrastructure improvements that need to take place first. Data centers aside, obviously I'm against it. I'm against any sort of businesses, some of these larger businesses getting tax abatements. I don't think we need to be attracting more development to Hood County right now. I think what we need to be doing is managing the development that we currently have in a responsible way so that we're maintaining the quality of life of the citizens here. And that's something that I'd like to remind you guys to do, because I kind of feel like we've lost focus of that. And also, I'm not familiar with procedures, but it boggles my mind why you would have so many people speak out against the annexation, and every single one of you voted in favor of that. The people in this room are representative of a much larger constituency here in Granbury. And so to have you guys turn a deaf ear, procedurally, I don't know if can you even reject a voluntary annexation? That's an actual question. Is
we
anyone
can't
allowed
respond.
to?
It's against the law for us to answer your question.
It's against, okay.
In this session, yes.
Okay, well, somebody hit me up on Facebook. You know my name. Answer my questions. If I'm wrong, let me know. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Council, do you have other comments, questions, business? No. There being no other business, I close this meeting. We're adjourned.